Morning everyone. Today is a big day. Today's going to be the first boil of 2024. So let's get into it right now. So the last couple of days the sap's been running okay, and then yesterday it actually ran pretty damn good. I was over to the big woods fixing some main lines that the slope wasn't right on. I had the laser out. Some of them had some low spots that was causing some backups. Those are fixed. One more that I still want to check. I just haven't had time to check that one yet. I had to work last night, so out this morning I've got tanks that are damn near full. Big Woods is like half a tank according to the Sap Spy monitor. Then this one down back I don't think is reading right, and then the two small tanks are at like 80%, so a couple 100 gallons. So I'm trying to get everything set up so that I can get some sap held. And this tank's full. I don't think it's run over yet, but it will in a minute, so I better get this one pumped out. I'll go grab the pump. Before I pump this tank though, I better make sure the valve's closed because I think I left it open on the drain. Yep, that was open, so good thing I checked because that would have really made me mad putting 250 down the drain. We got to like 30 degrees last night, so a bunch of slush is coming down now as this thing breaks open. It's supposed to be mid-40s today and decent, so I think we're going to get another moderately decent run today. So I'll have to get the RO fired up early because by the time I pump this, I'm going to bring a load home from the two small woods and I'll top off at the big woods. I'll have a full raw sap tank, so I'll probably get that thing going about noon time-ish, maybe a little bit later than that. And then get ready, clean everything tonight. I've got to work tomorrow, so I won't be able to boil. It's supposed to be like maybe 40 tomorrow, so we'll get a little bit, and then it's supposed to get cold. So I'll probably just let that go to ice because it just won't be enough, and it'll be fine sitting there. We're going to stay cold for at least a week, maybe probably 2 weeks. There's 250 gallons. I went up and tested it. That was at like 2%, so that's pretty good sap. I did decide to clean it real quick just because I got the time and there was some goodness in the bottom of it just from the early season crud coming out of the line, so that's out. But now I'm gonna go get those other two woods and get those taken care of. As always, I almost forgot to close the valve on the tank, but luckily I remembered, so. This tank is almost full, so, well, it's probably, what's a 300 gallon tank? It's probably got 275 in it, so that's a good load right there. I'm looking at my Sap Spy app, and right now I've got 17 inches of vacuum here, and it's still climbing. So yesterday this was at 22 inches. This tank's gonna take a couple minutes to pump, so I'm just gonna give this a quick lap just to check for any leaks. I don't think there's any here though. All I'm doing when I'm checking for leaks is I pull down on my loop and I look to see what the sap is doing in that loop and watch the bubbles. If the bubbles are moving super fast, that's a leak. If they're just kind of moving slow, then there's no leak. But if there's no leaks, tire vacuum, especially on the SureFlow pump systems, they don't have the recovery that a true vacuum pump does. So a little squirrel chew can take you down from 20 inches of vacuum down to like 6, and that's all lost sap. Now, the nice thing about this liter blue pipe is I can see a lot of these from a distance, so I don't have to stop at every one of them. I can see it from, 20, 30 yards out and keep walking, not even have to look for the leak. No leaks on the low one. I'm gonna run up real quick and just check that tree line. I just remembered, because I just hooked it up, that the valve on the end of that hose that on the tank is open. So I'm probably got sap running right out of the dump trailer right now. Nope, I got lucky that there was a loop in it because it would have been shortly. No leaks on this system. That's perfect. There. This one's checked, and I still had sap in the tank. I am going to give this one and the Hill Woods a quick clean just because they're empty, so I might as well. Probably ought to have this for tonight because I don't think the guys are going to want to help without that. Here's one thing a sugar maker likes, and it's almost full sap tanks. This woods runs, I think it's 2,000 feet. No, it can't be that. 1,500 feet back. So the first piece of it is pretty easy to get to. Then there's a break of probably 500 feet that there's nothing, and it's a side hill walking. So I'm gonna check the low side. Checking for leaks is definitely one of the most important things you can do when you're making syrup if you're running vacuum, because you can really lose a lot in a hurry with short vacuum. I've got to think that I'm not the only one that likes maple woods that don't have any leaks on the tubing on the first real good run of the year. Put the time in the off season because it pays during the season. No leaks on the low side of this woods. One of the huge advantages to blue pipe that you can look through is you can see the sap in it. So when you look, you can't really see the sap. But if you shake it, then you can. So you can find low spots or sags just by being able to look through that pipe. Black pipe, you can't do that. High density pipe, you can't do that. That's why I run the 30P, because you can look through it. Sap doesn't heat up. My woods get warm when they do. There's more advantages to the liter 30P pipe than just making it easy to work with. It just, sap doesn't get warm and you can see through it to see what your sap's doing. Solar panels are charging. The battery's at 13.8 volts. 12-volt systems, they work great. I have seen a huge advantage to putting that check valve in on the Blake Road woods. I've got one at the house for this woods. It's just a matter of finding time, so I'll get that on this week when it's cold. But I've definitely seen that the vacuum just doesn't disappear fast. It tapers down, so it's making it to where we don't have that rush of sap going back into the tap hole. Check valves help it, but I really want to keep every bit of sap out of that tree once it comes out, because then it's mine. It's not the trees, it's my sap once it comes out. This ran like a lot overnight. There's a lot of sap here. A lot more than I was anticipating, so I guess we're gonna start the RO earlier today. Well, that 200 gallons didn't put much of a dent in it. There's at least one more load here, so it'll probably end up being 2 by the day's over. We're gonna make a lot of syrup tonight. Pump's good, RPMs are right where they should be, telling me that there's no leaks up there. So I'm gonna run down, check the releaser real quick, just to make sure where I got a couple minutes. Well, I don't really have a couple minutes, but I'm gonna check it just to make sure everything's good down there. $250 from down back at the house, $725 a mixed load from the other 3 woods, and there's still a lot more to haul. So now I need to do one more soap wash on this thing. Tank's full, so I'm gonna pull out of that, get this thing going, and then I gotta do a bunch of other stuff done. So it's almost 2 o'clock now, so I gotta get this thing fired up because it's time to get ready to make some syrup. The sugar house is almost ready, but not quite. So there we go. this thing's plowing through the sap right now. I'm making like 6 gallons of concentrate and 12 gallons of permeate a minute. I don't really step on it too hard. I just don't need to right now. And then we're making like 5% coming out. So I could turn it up and make more if I wanted to, but I don't really want to right now. But we're making some permeate, we're making some concentrate, things are good. Except for Sap Spy says I got some vacuum down over to the big woods. So I'm gonna run over there, get another load of sap, and then run up, check those leaks real quick. So the C system is showing low vacuum at 18 inches, telling me there's something going on over there. I just checked B1, that's good. These are down a little bit, but I think the sap's just running. And with these ladders, they are what they are. They're just not a great system. But check B2, then get the C system. Now I couldn't find any leaks on the C system. So it's telling me that where there's that ladder, I probably need more air injected in. Because earlier this year, I cut it back a little bit because I thought there was too much. So now I probably should have just left things alone. But I'm gonna open this thing up and see if we can get some more air going in, see if the monitors respond while I'm here. I know I say that you should use needle valves for your leakers. I should probably do that myself, seeing how I'm like half and half. I've got 3 that I'm using the ball valves, and I just need to swap them because you can't control these very good. It's either too much or not enough. I'm definitely not going to get all of this in one load, so I'll get what I can and then come back and get the rest. RO is still plugging away, sap's in, we're making like 9% right now. Permeate tank's on the overflow. Super Bowl is on the screen because we added that today, because you can't boil on Super Bowl Sunday and not watch the game. It's just not going to be a thing. Cooler's full. Luke's here. He brought his smoker. So we're gonna have barbecue wings, shotgun shells. Aaron's making a buffalo chicken dip. We're gonna live large tonight while we're doing this. I gotta go pump that tank down back one last time, clean that, and then start filling this thing up. Flip the valve. Concentrate's now going up to the head tank. RL's still plowing through it. But now we're filling the flue pan. So head tank, I calibrated that so I know where my empty line is. And then I've got 5, 10, and 15 gallons. So at the end of the night when I'm shutting down, I know where those are. The rest of it I've got to do this week. But filling the flue pan right now. I've got my shield here, insulation behind the pan to keep it from burning back there. Insulation with a little cutout I had to do for the bubbler where that goes in. And then everything's inside right now. John's bringing wood in because he likes playing with his wood. But get this thing cranking here in probably 15 minutes. So we're cranking. I had an issue with my camera that it didn't want to start, but now what I've got is there's a breather that comes in or that goes out for the preheater, and it just vents back up into the head tank, but it equalizes when you first get started. And it was leaking here, and it still kind of is. I got 2 clamps on it, and I put the heat trying to thaw the pipe out, but we're trying to heat the pipe up. It didn't work that great, but right now it just runs down in, so we'll lose a little bit. I'll fight with that later, but fire's lit, back pan's going, syrup pan, the float was stuck on that, so that overfilled, but that'll come out. So we're not quite boiling in the back yet, but with that bubbler, it makes it so it already is, and it's a ton of steam. Take it off. This thing's nice. just figured out we're not burning much wood, and it doesn't seem like we're really going through the sap like we should. And John goes, we're burning like 3 pieces at a time. I'm like, wait a minute, I just turned the air up. Uh-oh, I know what's going on. That'll help having that thing open. I don't know if the camera shows it, but that's better. There's sparks coming out of there like there should be now. That door being closed didn't help things. Now we should get through this sap. We're at a raw sap now. The RO just desugared that. That thing's in just a quick rinse mode, and then we're still cranking. Temperature's starting to climb. Is that any good? Doesn't suck. Doesn't suck. And there's probably 175 gallons up there. So we'll make probably 10 gallons of syrup. Okay. Connor at Leader, you know who I'm talking about. One of the best welders up there. Because of you and the bubbler that you built me, we just made golden syrup for the first time we've ever made it, and freaking delicious.
It's amazing.
See, even she agreed. Well, I had to shovel all the fire out because we went from like 10 gallons to 0 gallons in the head tank in about 2.5 minutes, and there was a lot of fire in there. So that's shoveled out, and I got the blower running trying to blow all the heat out. I think we'll be okay though. I got some emergency water if I need it. I'm just gonna say, what a night. We have never made golden syrup, and tonight we made a canner. Well, not quite a canner. There's probably 10 or 12 in there. After I filter it, I'm almost positive it's gonna be golden. That bubbler had it to where we were making light syrup. I even cut it back. I was running it wide open right away. This stuff is pretty awesome looking, and it tasted, well, that good too. RO worked awesome. That thing just plowed through the sap all afternoon. Going up to the 195 tank, that made life really easy, because I was able to put it up there and not have to run the little jockey pump. I just recirculated, brought it down about halfway, then put the rest up, and then was able to desugar right into it, which made life easy compared to before having to swap back and forth.